pastel notes. These are going to be very similar to pencil and colored pencil in a lot of ways. Okay, so it says follow the same guidelines for pencil value plus these below. Right, so similar to colored pencil, similar to pencil, you're going to follow some of these and then we're going to modify it just a little bit. So think about some of the things you do. You lighten your pencil lines before you start. You use multiple colors. You work background to foreground. You overlap and layer, right? So all those things you've been doing with pencil and with colored pencil, they still apply to oil pastel, but they're a little bit different in some ways. So for example, pick your main color first and layer in additional colors. So each object will probably use 3 to 7 colors. That's just like colored pencil, right? So you get your main color, you get your other colors, and you lightly layer them together. So the way paper works is it has teeth on it. And we kind of talked about this in 8th grade with the self-portraits, that you had to erase your pencil before you put your marker down. Otherwise it trapped the pencil in there and you couldn't erase it. You guys kind of vaguely remember that? So if you put the oil pastel down, it's going to catch the teeth and we'll still see white paper through. If you press hard, there won't be any teeth left and it'll turn into a slimy mess. Right, Sydney? So you don't want to go too hard right out of the gate. You want to lightly layer just like you did with colored pencil. Then you start layering them in and then you'll slowly build until you burnish. So you will get solid with oil pastel as well. So when you mix though, you're mixing with the oil pastels. You're not mixing with your finger or a paper towel or anything else. You're just building with the oil pastels themselves. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Do you see here where I've capitalized, bolded, and underlined? Do not color like a coloring book with these. So these are the most like crayons that we have, but they're not crayons. They're oil-based, they're not wax-based. So we're gonna build and we're gonna layer and we're gonna blend them together, but you're not sitting down and picking up a color and coloring it in like a coloring book. I have kids do it a little bit with colored pencils, but always with oil pastel. I have kids pick up one color and start coloring it. And then I go to help them and there's no teeth left to blend stuff because they thought, oh, it's a grape, it's purple. And how many of you realize now at this point that just because it's a green frog doesn't mean that the whole thing is green? Are we realizing that yet from our colored pencil experience? Okay. These are a little easier to blend, I think, because they're oil-based, so they blend a little bit easier than colored pencil, but it's also why you gotta be careful about not treating them like crayons. They do not erase, so be mindful about what decisions you make before you put them down. So I've been helping Kelsey a little bit, and I had to go in with my thumbnail and scrape some of it off. But that gets you only so far, right? So we gotta be careful about what am I doing before I do it, because I can't just go in and erase it if it's wrong. So practice, practice, practice. There are scratch pieces for you to use, or you can use your sketchbook. I highly recommend you playing around with them a little bit before you go on to your actual final project and trying to get it all figured out, especially if you do something difficult. And then here I said you'll slowly press harder and burnish and blend them together at the end, which is what I've been saying this whole time anyway. Any questions so far? Is this sounding familiar at least? Just kind of making sense with what you've been doing. Okay, I'm gonna go over this way, Haley. All right, we're gonna do oil pastels similarly to how we've done colored pencil, okay? I used to check a pack of oil pastels out to each person. Can you guys do me a favor, just turn this way and I'll leave that up for a little bit and I'll put it on the website too so you guys can finish getting those if you guys want them all. So Sydney, everybody thanks Sydney.
Thank you, Sydney.
She's been coming in during her study just to help me. So instead of everybody getting a 16 pack, so what I would do is you would get a number. So let's say Emerson's number was 20. I would go, here's pack number 20. You can take this home and use it, and then give it back when you're done, which works. But what are the limitations to that? You don't have as many colors, right? So then what I've done, because this is a 16 pack, is I've ordered some 50 packs. Right? Now, obviously, I can't afford to send every kid home with a 50 pack with 60 intro kids. And quite frankly, I don't trust you with this many oil pastels. Okay, but the problem is if you come over and you're doing green and you're limited to these 2 greens, I'm guessing 9 times out of 10, it's probably gonna be the wrong green. Whereas this pack has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 greens. Is there a better chance of you having the right color in there?
Yes.
Okay, is everybody in the class gonna need green? No. So what we're gonna do instead is, Cindy's gone through and she's been trying to sort these. So how we've done it is like, here's the purple container. And when I say we, I mean Cindy. So she's got your ultramarine purple color in here. So for the pack, that was this. So there was 1 purple, and that was it. And it's a blue violet. So if you needed red violet, that probably wasn't gonna work. Now she's sorted out from the 50 pack. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. She's not quite done, I don't think. Are ya? Okay. So she's got the other violet colors that were in there sorted out. So just know that the 16 ones are gonna be the full trays, and then there's only a few of the other ones. And I'm gonna start trying to amp those up a little bit. So same for the blues, right? There's 2 blues in the 16 pack. Right here, she's gone through, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One of these is kind of a purple, so let's say 6. So she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she's got 1 more blue she's got to put. Does that help you understand a little bit what you're doing? So what I'm thinking is, you'll come over and grab one of these nice gum packs. So,
Students currently in Spanish 2 and American History, go to the auditorium to get your...
that's not you. I'll call down in a second and see. It's only 9:15, so she might call you in a minute. So if I grab this, I'm only gonna need to grab the colors that I need, okay? So if I come over with my reference image and I hold it up to the oil pastels, I can say, okay, if I go into the yellows, and I need this yellow, and I'm gonna need this yellow. I don't wanna put that in there, so I'll forget where it went. I need this. Also, notice she put them back where they go. So you need to be mindful of, if you get a different color that's not one of the 2 from the 16 pack, you need to figure out where it goes so we don't get them blended. And it does say on them, this is number 33 ochre. So this is a yellow ochre color. And this says number 6 yellow ochre. So this one looks like it's just a little bit darker, a little more orangey brown than the other one. Can you guys see that? Okay. So you should be able to fit, what do you think, like 20 oil pastels in there? I think we should be good. It seals, it won't get all over your bag. Does that sound good to everybody? If we run out of these, I do have some of these blank packs and you can pack one of these up too. The only bad thing is they get beat up in your backpack. Now, notice how there are a lot of new ones and there are some broken ones in here too. So who's been an oil pastel so far? Madeline and Sydney and Kelsey. The challenge with oil pastel is that you can't sharpen it. So you can't go over to the colored pencil and make a tiny point to it. So Lauren, how do you think I would sharpen an oil pastel?
You take the wrappy thing and you unwrap it.
Okay, so that gives me more space. It doesn't necessarily sharpen it. Madeline, what did you do?
I just took a paper towel and spread it out.
Okay, so having a paper towel, and you guys are probably gonna put this in your notes. Grabbing a paper towel and cleaning it is a good idea. Did any of you accidentally get the wrong color somewhere? And oil pastel, very frustrating. Check your oil pastel, make sure it's clean. Like even, like here, this,
Especially the white.
look at this poor yellow. There's red and blue and stuff all over it. Now, why didn't I have Cindy just throw this away?
Because if you just snip off the end.
Well, I don't even have to, because it's already been cracked. So think about like this cylinder, that's essentially your point. So it doesn't really come to a point, but I've got all these edges. So that's how I can make eyelashes there. I can do tiny little shiny things. I can do edges with that in a way that I can't with one that's been rounded on the top. Now someone's kind of tried to sharpen this seal. They ran it flat. So they just went like this on their paper. It flattened it and then flattened the other side. And now look, I've got another edge. So you guys aren't really creating points in the way that you do with the color pencil. You're creating edges with these. So you can still kind of do sharp pointy details. But this is why I told you don't pick squares with things that are really tiny because you can't sharpen it. Does that make sense to everybody? These are great for out of focus, blendy, blurry stuff. They're not great for sharp points. And I got this out of here. So once these get to the point where you can't hold it in your fingers, then you can throw it away. like this one's broken, but this would be great. Look at that. That's like nice and thin. I'd be like, yes, I can do an edge. So that's why those are in there. So don't give up on the broken ones. They too serve a purpose. Okay, so I've got, similar to this, I've got black, grays, and whites. Here are the browns, the reds, the oranges. Oh, pinks are with the reds, right? Oranges, yellows, greens, blues, and purples. So we made a rainbow. Wow. Okay, some questions about oil pastel so far. All right, here's your sketchbook assignment. It's the same as your colored pencil assignment. If you want to do it right next to your colored pencil project, you can. So I went in, here's my base blue color, okay? To make it darker, I've got my ultramarine that's kind of a purpley blue, and then I've got black. So this is just like colored pencil so far, right? Only I gave you navy because I made more colors. Here's my electric blue color. This one's actually called, I don't know because I can't read it, somebody tore it off. My light blue, and then I've got white. Pentel will not respond to my calls or emails, so we've had to order a different brand of white. So if you see a thicker white, it's fine. It'll still work. It's just a different brand. What else was I gonna say? There is a navy blue color, but I only have like a couple of them, so that's why I'm not giving it to you for your assignment, because I don't have enough for everybody to use it. But you can make, blue and black is navy blue, so I'm gonna use that to make it. Oh, here's the other thing. If you pick one up and you go to color with it and it doesn't have oil anymore, it's not slimy, it almost works like a dry crayon, it's dried out, you can throw it away. Okay? So we start lightly. This had black on it already, I can see. And I'm gonna lighten as I get down to the bottom. You guys see that? Then I come back in with my black color. Now a little bit of black will go a long way, so I'm going lightly with it. Oh, I made a hard edge, my bad. I'm gonna lighten as I come down. I can't hardly do it though. Grab my purple, my ultramarine color. I'm gonna blend that in. See how it's starting to make a darker blue already? I'm not making purple, I'm not making black, I'm making dark blue. Right. And then, wrong color. I come in, I'm gonna push a little harder, so I'm burnishing it. I don't want it to be streaky. I'm gonna pull that down. I'm gonna lighten again. Come in with my light blue. I'm gonna start from the bottom and go up on this one. Press a little harder, then lighten as I come down. Come back in with my base color. Have you guys been doing that with colored pencil? Find your base color, get it down first, blend your other colors in. I lighten the blue. I press a little harder with my light blue as I come up. So I have uneven edges, and then I can come in with my white. It looks fairly clean. And I blend that together. Do you see how much faster that was in colored pencil though?
Yeah.
It blends a lot easier. You just gotta be smart about your choices before you start. And I don't want any paper to show through, right? So I go through, I get rid of my edges. Can you see how it's a little hard to keep your edges crisp? This would be a good time for you to put that Post-it note down so you don't accidentally get your oil pastel into your pencil square and then you can't get rid of it. Okay? So does that match pretty well? Okay, questions? All right, you guys know all the medias now, so I'm gonna start going through and grading pencil squares. You get your pencil squares done, get your colored pencil squares done, you get that done to your oil pastel sketchbook, we'll get that, and we'll roll into oil pastel. October 23rd is the end of quarter, so that's our goal. Have those done by then. Sound good? All right, let's get to work.